and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I'm going to talk about Prune Ctenanthe. Get a lot of questions about pruning this plant. For good reason, because this isn't one of those plants where it's very clear as to what you should do. First of all, these plants are a lot like puppies. They look really cute and mounded when they're young, but they do grow up and they get a lot more rangy. They grow 3 to 4 feet naturally out in their native habitat. So, and I do have a care video for Ctenanthe that I will put a link to below, as well as any other videos I mention in this video. Okay, so for the purpose of this, we're talking about pruning this, or how to get this plant a little less rangy, right? Well, first of all, like I said, it is not a plant, it is a plant that does get rangy naturally, right? So you may want to just go with the flow with the plant, but if you do want to cut back some, I'm going to show you a little bit about what you can do. First of all, as I mentioned in many of my pruning videos, you don't want to prune back more than 1/3 at a time of any plant when you're pruning, because it can put it into shock and even kill it. So you want to go with 1/4 cut back, 1/3 max. With this plant, it's a little on the tricky side, because you want to keep the form, right? And so, as I mentioned, it isn't a plant, it is a plant that grows up. So it doesn't stay, it's not naturally staying mounded, right? But I'm going to show you a few things you can do to get it under control a little bit. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is cut out any dead or dying branching. So you do that. You do that right down to the stem. So I've got like a leaf that's kind of yucky here. So right down to the base of the stem. And then this one, of course, is dead here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. It's hard to even work with this plant sometimes. Get it in there. So there, we've got that out. So you can look around for anything else that looks kind of like here's some more dead stuff there. And here. So first, before you do any kind of formative pruning, you want to first just get the dead stuff, get the stuff that's really rangy and not looking good, or something that's hanging sideways. Those would be the first things to go. Generally speaking, with this plant, you want to cut back down to the base of the plant. This plant will produce more growth at the soil line, so from rhizomes, so they will continue to get bigger, to grow that way. So one thing some people do to make it a shorter plant is to cut the whole thing down. It will take several months for it to come back. That is one option. I'm not going to do it with this plant, but it is something you could do. If you were going to do that, you would simply cut it back, like right here where this piece is. Let me get closer here. You can see better. Okay, so I would cut back to, say, right here, just leaving this leaf here. And so you could do that across the board, cutting back. And then in some areas where there is no leaf, you just have to cut back further, although I would suggest cutting to where there's a leaf. So here in this one here, cutting to right here. So then we would leave a leaf right there. Now, keeping in mind when you would do this, it's going to one day get rangy again. You're going to have to do this again, okay? And then the good news is any new growth that comes up, that is going to be nice and short for a while for you. So say, for instance, this little guy here. So we've got a new one coming up here, right? So that's one way you can do it. You can, as the new ones come up, you can be cutting out the older ones, and you will be able to keep the plant a little more under control that way. Okay, there are some other things you can do here too. So I thought I saw some dead leaf here to get. Okay, so that gives you an idea of cutting all the way back. Now, you can also cut back just a bit on top. So say you have a couple that are very higher than the other one. So you know, you've got maybe two that are sticking way up, and then you've got the rest that are more compact. And to make it look more uniform, what you can do in that case, and I'm going to do it, I saw one that would be good to do it with, to give you an idea of how to do that. Well, this one here is another example. Not too long ago, I cut this one, and you can see I got 3. So when you do cut, you're going to get more. You're going to get more growth. I had cut down to here on this plant down here, and then I got 3 instead of just the 1. Okay, so what you can do with those long rangy ones, and I'm going to do it with this one, with the one that's sticking up here to show you, this one that's sticking up a little further, somewhat further than the other ones, and it's looking like it's going to continue to shoot up. And what you can do in that case is you'll see that they grow, each piece grows in this fan shape here, like a fan shape coming out, right? It comes out in a fan. So it's hard to get this one. Okay, let me get closer here, see if that helps. Okay, so I'm going to show you this fan thing. This I'm trying to work on here, showing you. Okay, so now there's that leaf I've been seeing. Let me get that out of there. So you see here, with this one, so any dead ones, what you want to do is cut right to the stem without cutting into the stem. Okay, so that wasn't what I was going to show you though. Okay, so there is for the one that, well, that was one of the things I wanted to show you, but for this long guy here, so we've got this guy, I've identified one that's longer and going to continue to get longer. So how to shorten that some. Now need to go out a little bit again, get the right amount here. Okay, so here, kind of wish I had some tie tape to tie the, you can do that too when you're working on plants. Tie them back so that you can work on them. Actually, I'm going to stop for a sec and do that, get something to okay, I'm back. I have separated with some green tie tape, which I recommend using whenever you're working with plants to stake them, tie them, etc. I have a video on this as well. Okay, so I have separated it a little bit, so to make it a little bit easier to be able to show you here. Okay, so this one right here, you can see it's fan shaped. This is the longest piece here. This piece is going up. It's a very healthy piece, but I can tell it's going to be shooting up taller than the rest of the plant, and it's going to throw off the balance of the plant. So what you can do is you can go into the center of this fan and you can remove that one piece. So I'm going to follow it down to right where it is attached to the other leaf here, and See about coming in even closer now so you can see it now that you've seen the top part. Okay, so you can see here that this was the long piece. I'm in the center here. I've got this right here identified, and it goes, it's attached to these shorter leaves here. So you can see these shorter leaves are going to take over once I take this out, and these are a lot shorter now. So I'm going to go ahead and take this center piece out right. See if you can see. There you go. Right there. Okay, so now we've taken this piece out. So this piece has been taken out. Plant looks a little funky because I tied it. Okay, shaking it out a little bit. So you can see now that I have this one was about up like this. So it was shooting up more. Now I have another one here that's shooting up some as well. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. It's right, so you can see what we're doing here. It's right here. So you just go into the center of the leaf fan and take out the leaf that is protruding upwards. Now there's another one right next to it, right here. You can see this is a brand new leaf, but it's shorter than the one I just took. So really what we're doing here is you're slowly but surely pruning your Ctenanthe. If there, as I mentioned before, if there's one branch that's hanging too much, you can always just cut it down at the base of the plant. New plants will grow to take over that. So that's something else that you can do to make it look more trimmer, more compact, and let the shorter ones come up and take over, and some of the taller ones you get rid of. What I always suggest with pruning, it's just like getting your hair cut. It's a similar thing. It's better to err on the side of, it's not even erring, just go on the side of being cautious. Go slowly, take a little bit off, look at the plant. Is it looking good, or is that a little too much? You do, because you cannot glue these back on. If you break it, I do have a video actually on if you break a stem, how you may be able to bandage it and it could repair itself. But this is not going, I cannot put this back on the plant, any of this that I've taken off. So once you've pruned something, you've pruned it. So go really slow with the Ctenanthe, especially since it's not the easiest plant to prune, and keep going till you like the look of it, with remembering always that you do not want to do more than 1/3 at any one trimming. You know, and there's the things like this, like I mentioned, this is this droopy leaf here that's hanging there. So I'm going to take that droopy leaf off. It doesn't really look good. And so I'm going to go down to the base of the plant, and I took that off. So when you see I turn it back around here, it's not drooping around. So slowly but surely pruning the plant. Take a look at it, do the 1/4 to 1/3, then you want to leave it for a few months and before you prune again. It is winter right now. It's generally better to prune in late winter and spring and even early summer than it is winter, which is another reason why I'm not doing a really hard pruning on this plant right now. But this question keeps coming up, so I wanted to do something to address how to prune your Ctenanthe. So there you go with how to prune it. And do let me know if you have any questions about the plant. As I mentioned, I do have a video on how to grow it, and I'll have the link below for that too. So you can see the plant looks better now. There's still a little bit more cleaning up to do. I see when I turn it around that I can see little things here and there that I will want to work on. But for the most part, it's looking pretty good here. So here's a leaf that looks like it's browning, but it's actually the white part that's a little bit brown. So it looks like, yeah, it's not the best looking leaf. So clean up, and remember you would go down on here. So I'm going down to the side of the stem and taking that off, and that looks better. So there you go, how to prune your Ctenanthe. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.